Where's the music? There it is.
There it is. It's that David Singer.
Oh my God.
That's Silva.
I don't know how I got dragged back, Michael.
Oh my God.
Live from South Miami at the community newspapers. It is Gloves Off with two of my favorite guests who I just cannot get out of my life. Michael Miller.
We're trying.
Ta-da!
And Ed Silva. How's everybody doing?
Good. It was so quiet when you were out of town.
Let me tell you something.
It was peaceful.
Let me tell honestly, I got to tell you something. I really enjoyed New York.
Okay. So, you enjoyed New York, and your dog, what's it, Lacey?
Lacey, my dog, Lacey.
Lacey, your dog, Lacey, was so happy that you were gone that she decided to go out on her own.
Oh, my God.
For a date.
She was, right? She was definitely looking for a date. I had a buddy of mine's kids watch the house because I was being cheap about it. And they said they'd watch the house for free. They watched the house for free. Mm-hmm. And now I know paying somebody $500 a week to watch my house would have been a better deal than having two kids watch my house, because that became the party house.
Okay. All right. So I do want to commend all the people in Palmetto Bay that shared your posting of your friendly dog, Lacey, who was sitting in your office chair in that picture, including there are people that are very active in politics in Palmetto Bay who shared your picture.
Boy, you are such a kiss up.
All right.
Seriously. Unbelievable. Do you make any money off it, any of those people? Do you make any money off Palmetto Bay?
If I remember, one of them was, what the hell was her name? What is that lady's name?
I like that new graphic up there. Look at that. The gloves.
You like that?
Right.
It's funny.
Who's the mayor down there nowadays?
Oh, we'll get it. We'll get it. Oh, you'll hear her name mentioned a lot.
Do they have one?
I'm not sure, but I think she shared.
She did share it.
And
I do appreciate the
guy
fact
that beat you.
Yeah, the guy that beat me shared it too.
How many did you lose by there?
300, 350. Anyway,
Steve Cody, how many did you beat his butt by?
Hey, who invited you to the show anyway? Can you put the disclaimer up so I can, because I'm gonna need it.
Yeah.
And can you do me a favor? Can you hit one before I read the disclaimer? Thank you. The opinions of the host, guest, and callers are not necessarily the opinions of community newspapers. By the way, just to let you know, you guys are more than welcome to send me an email if you have questions or anything. And or you can call in. I bought this very nice $500.
He did actually. He put the money out. Yes, he actually paid for it.
And by the way, I'm
going to get a commitment to make I don't have to be paying.
Take phone calls.
It's stuttering now.
To take phone calls, and they haven't even hooked it up yet.
All right. But by the way, I did have the first cup of coffee. All right, on this brand new coffee maker, you put a little widget in, you push the top, 6 ounces of great coffee, and it was super. Thank you, Mr. Singer.
You're welcome. There's a present from me to you.
All right. And your dog. Did you have to pay the $100?
No, my stepson found him.
Oh, where was he, in the back?
No, roaming around Carvey Park.
Did they do?
Dogs are not allowed there. Maybe he was visiting the art piece.
You know what? Did they do the Shannon Melinda inspection for your doggie?
No, God, we're not going to talk about that until my friend David Winker is back and he can tell us how the lawsuit's going. Anyway, okay. So first, let's talk about something serious. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is Surfside. I guess today we're up to 60 people that they have found deceased in the rubble, and I guess they're expecting 70 more. Extremely unfortunate. I don't want to talk necessarily about the building, but I do want to talk about something I find, and I've been writing about this for the last 3 weeks. People being PR whores, basically, around a tragedy like this. So yesterday at 7:15, they had a moment of silence. The Governor Ron DeSantis, Mayor Daniel Cava, and Surfside Mayor Charles Burnett, they all said, let's have a moment of silence at 7:15 and a little prayer and everything else. Well, the Village of Palmetto Bay mayor had to make it about her. Okay, again, a tragedy, made it about her. And during the moment of silence, she was giving a 10-minute political speech with the rest of the council in regards to Surfside. Now, I hate to tell her this, but this is not the time or the place to sit there and make a tragedy like this about politicians getting me more PR. And what really irritated me, and I saw this 2 weeks ago, or I guess when the building came down, is there were a lot of politicians that were in front of Surfside after the building came down, and all they wanted was television time. There has to be a time and a place where your morals kick in and you realize that this is no time for politics. This is time for the rescue teams to go in there, the first responders, and find people that are either alive or dead. And it's really, I find it insulting that any politician out there would make this about themselves instead of the victims. And that's what happened last night with the mayor of Palmetto Bay. And that's what happened when the Surfside buildings first came down.
So I think intention matters a lot in these cases, because when you look at it, people aren't quite sure what to do, right? And so it's really the personality that comes through. And if somebody is doing it for this purpose of getting PR, that's one thing. But if they're doing it because they're trying to figure out how to express their views, I'll give them I give them a break. We look at the behavior, not just one time, but 2 times and 3 and 4, to make a decision about some of our leaders when they show up. And I understand what you're saying. There were some people in the last election on a statewide basis that would show up for events in West Kendall and in Homestead. It made me sick. It was
it's ridiculous,
right?
and I call them, and I call it like I see it, right? Because it's gloves off. To me, if you have to be a PR whore, okay, when a tragedy hits, you should just crawl back in your little hole and stay there.
Yeah,
because there's no time and a place for my problem with even Biden coming down here is it took away the time where the first responders could literally be digging for somebody who still could be alive. Okay. And I think politicians too, because when you have the chief of police answering to politicians, or you have the chief of the fire department answering to politicians, instead of doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're distracted by all these politicians being around the building, I don't think that works. I think that's a terrible thing.
It looks like he's ready to.
No, the only thing I was going to say is, you got to give kudos to President Biden. When he came, he did not go to the site.
He didn't, but they stopped looking. But they stopped. It's amazing to me, okay, that they stopped looking for survivors when he was here. They said that the building was unsafe. That looking for survivors during that time period, the building area was unsafe, and it coincided with his visit here, and that's very telling to me.
But we as consumers and resident and active people, we look to our leaders, whoever those are, to provide comfort and direction. All right, and so I give a lot of them a big pass on a lot of stuff. All right. Especially on Miami Beach, where it was such devastation. And I really looked, again, as I said earlier, to the other stuff that was not so traumatic and where they were opportunists, all right? And that's great for high school stuff, but and I could list about 5 or 6 some people that are on the Miami-Dade Commission that went out there, that it's not even their area, but they wanted some airtime, But how about the other side, Ed, where they go, well, where were you? You're our leaders. Why weren't you there?
But that's
Why
okay.
didn't I see you?
I think Kava's done an excellent job. At first, I thought she was on the air too much, but then in retrospect, I'm looking at it. I think she's done an excellent job to come out and basically report on what's going on.
And you got to remember, she's a strong mayor. She's actually the chief of those.
That's
people.
right. So she's the strong mayor. She should be the one that's out in front. Okay.
And she is.
And the Surfside mayor should be the one that's out in front. And I don't even have a problem with the governor coming down here. Should be out in front, but everybody else needs to stay away from the site, because I really think it interrupts the ability to find people that may be alive.
I have not watched it really in 10 days. It was just too traumatic for me. All right, but have those other people stayed away, or are they still there?
It was the first 48 hours or 72 hours, which is the most important, right? You figure people could still be alive in the first 48 to 72 hours. Did they find somebody after something fell a week afterwards? Was it 9/11 that they found somebody a week? I don't know, whatever.
Well, there's a lot of stories out there of people that survived.
But I mean, they should have stayed away from the damn site. and they should have let the first responders do what they do best.
Okay, so here should be the interesting week. Political season's coming up in 6 months or a year, whatever it is, and let's see if any of those politicians use their picture at that site, all right, and their PR stuff. That's the test, all right. That's the one where they could take something that is so significant, such a traumatic and dramatic effect on literally thousands of people that are connected to those family members, all right, and to use it. I truly hope that we don't see it, because then, all right, then you'll have something to talk about. All right, I think.
Yeah. So okay, so all my friends are sending emails. Pam Gorman said that's not true. I don't know what she's saying. That's not true. And then Bob Bazzelli said did not stop because Biden was here. But they did stop during the period of time that Biden was here, because they said that area was unsafe. And it just, the coincidence to me was kind of interesting. And I happen to be a Biden fan, but I just think that these guys need to focus on and you can't focus when there's a circus. That you can't focus when there's media around. You can't focus. I know the media are like hawks.
I give most of them a big pass, because this is like, oh my God, what do you do? All right. And so again, my hat's off to them for trying to do what they think is the right thing. And if they do the wrong thing, you're going to know.
This is an unprecedented event anyway. This is not something that happens, thank God.
Yeah.
And I think, like, after Hurricane Andrew in '92, this is going to change quite a lot of things out there going forward in the industry. So I think we're trying to work through a lot of these things.
But
I understand.
In theory, okay, you should have a couple politicians out there that need to be out there. Kava needed to be out there, definitely. And everybody else, you just damn well stay away. And when you have Kava and you have the governor and you got the other mayor, Surfside, saying, let's have a moment of silent meditation, okay, for the people who have passed away or the people that are injured, and you have another politician sitting there talking politics during that time period, I mean, there's something wrong with that. There is something wrong with that. You have to, if you're a politician, do you have to have that much, do you have to have that much screen time? I mean, are you looking for validation that much? I mean, seriously, it's mind-boggling to me.
Anyway.
Okay.
How are you, Michael?
Hey, good. Things are good on this end. July 4th holiday come and gone, thank goodness, all right? Kids are going to be, back to school. Sales start in about 2 weeks, all right? Only.
Could you try again?
Oh, boy.
And Pam, I do believe that David did say that the mayor had a role there and she was supposed to be there. I think he's referring to other people other than the mayor. And the mayor has to be there. She is a strong mayor. She is the boss of all those people. And I can understand what that is. So
it's, again, a very delicate subject. People are all over on the place.
Oh, I appreciate people's opinions.
Okay. All right. So David.
Where are we going to move on to now, David?
Yeah, let's hear it. Gloves off. Here it goes.
You want to talk about tax increases?
Yeah,
for Palmetto Bay residents?
Let's talk about tax increases. Now, I know that your buddy might be out there and he might be calling you and telling you it's just pennies a day, but here we go again. We're going for round 3, Palmetto Bay, of an increase in taxes. They're proposing a maximum millage rate of 2.4, which is a substantial increase over the 2.23 that we're at right now. So not only are we increasing the millage rate, this is coming on the heels of increasing storm fees, increasing the FP&L franchise fees, and now we're getting hit with another whammy, which is the millage rate. Now they're going to say, wait, this is a proposal. We haven't voted on it. This is the maximum, yada, yada, yada.
I understand that the Village of Palmetto Bay just received like a AAA, 4A rating for finances. What is that?
Wait. They did not just receive that.
When was that?
They've had it.
We've had it.
They've had it for years.
Wait.
And you know what I mean?
Let's be real.
And you know
here.
how you get that rating?
How do you get that, David?
If your loans are under a certain equity rating, that's how you get it.
And it's also tied into
Yeah.
how much money you've gotten in
Correct.
reserves.
So I mean, it's silly to come out here and say, "Oh, we just got this," because I've had it.
You
for
know what?
years.
Come back in a couple of years and let me know how that AAA is doing, and I'll let you know, and I'll tell you.
Look, they still can't. Let me tell you something. They still cannot refinance the bonds that were due last October.
But didn't I read that on the Village of Palmetto Bay's Facebook page? They were promoting that
Yes.
that acknowledgement.
You know, yes. Wow, I didn't even think I was going to go on down that segue. Yes, they did, but that's old news.
Wow.
Just like a grant that they're going for on Monday, which is being based on stuff that was done through the previous council and administration, that is coming home to roost now, which I'm sure they'll do victory laps on as well.
A little twist
And that's okay.
of the truth.
They always twist the truth. That's the only thing they know how to do is twist.
That's
the
what
truth.
politicians do, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's only one in the room.
I
here.
do want to get. I do want to get.
Don't
Thank
call
God.
Ed a politician.
Thank God. No, no. Thank God for that. But I mean, let's.
Okay, wait.
Palmetto
After
Bay.
that comment, you should have hit 2.
What is 2?
Palmetto Bay.
Wait, hit 2. Okay, thank you.
You're going to be hit with another tax increase. You had not only was FP&L enough, FP&L adds about $1 million more in revenues to the village. They're now proposing a 2.4 millage rate, which will add another $600,000 to their coffers, on top of the usual increase in property tax values. They're basically adding over $2 million worth of revenues to the village coffers next year.
Okay, well, you're making this extremely difficult for the average person to sit there and follow. Okay, so let's talk about the 3
And that
or
was
4
your
tax.
friend David talking about it.
Well, I understand what it is, but most people watching won't.
How could you possibly understand? That has numbers in
Because
it.
it is money, and So anyway, so they've increased the electric fee,
Yes.
for FP&L fee. Okay, they
Substantially.
increased substantially
For 30 years.
6% for 30 years. They now have what are the other ones that they did? They're
It's
now
the stormwater, which
stormwater
they
fee
doubled
they've
it.
increased, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and now they're going after. I know I'm missing one.
The
Now they're
millage
going
rate.
after.
They're going
the
after
millage
property
rate,
taxes.
Which, by the way, okay, your house, because of what's going on with the property values in Miami-Dade County, your house is going to go up to the max anyway at 3%. There's a cap on the amount of value they can raise it. On top of that 3% increase in your house value, now they're raising the millage rate, okay, which will bring in additional money that you have to pay out of pocket.
So if they raise the millage rate, will there be enough money to buy the old Florida Power and Light property? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Come on, is that why they're doing it?
I
Is
don't
there
know.
a secret plan?
No, I don't think they have $35 million.
Maybe.
There's ways that they.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
bond it
there's-
out.
There are ways that they could have done it, but they're not going to do it. They don't have a clue. This is a government that's just
Listen,
operating.
you got 5 people. You
without
got
a clue.
5 people on that council. I bet you $20. If you go to their checkbooks, they haven't reconciled their checkbooks or know how much money's in their bank account. Okay, for the last 5 years.
All right, let me try to
Dumb it down for you.
dumb it down for
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Even though they're increasing all these taxes, this is coming on the heels of a very high inflation rate. It's coming on the reels that if you looked at your homeowners policies renewals or your windstorm
25%.
they're going up 25 to 30%.
Mhm.
On top of that, look at your gasoline prices where they were just a year and a half ago to what they are now. So these pennies on the dollar, which is about $350 to $400 a year per average on every one of our households, $400 could buy me 4 tickets to go to Disney World with the kids and
So
my grandkids.
I'm glad you brought up about homeowners insurance. What is going to happen with that in the next year or two?
Oh, with what's just happened? Oh, I'm sure that the condo rates are going to go through the roof.
Now, what's going to happen, because we manage commercial properties, is and I've already engaged somebody to look at one of the office buildings that I'm the president of an association with, to look and make sure that everything is okay. You're just going to have you're going to have a lot of people prior to the 40-year or 30-year evaluation come out every 10 years and check to make sure all the cracks are okay and the windows are okay and all that.
Well, there's one city, I think it's City of Miami, that's already changed it from 40 to 30.
That quickly?
Yeah.
No, it's interesting.
And I'm not even sure 30 is the right number. I think.
Well, I think 30 is okay for some. I mean, listen, you're taking everything and you're lumping it together, right? So you're talking about if it was 34 electrical or plumbing, I think that's okay. I mean, if it's 24 structural, I think that's okay. So you can't sit there and say, okay, let's just have a standard year, because some things are more life endangering than other things in a building.
Okay, let's talk about homeowners. If you're a single family homeowner, rates of skyrocketing. So what is
so has flood insurance, by the way.
say again?
Oh yeah, flood
Flood
insurance
insurance as well.
Flood insurance has gotten worse than.
Yeah.
fire and windstorm.
It's all going up. And then on top of everything else like that going up, now they're coming and asking for tax increases with no apparent reason. If you were to tell me, and I've had this conversation on the show before, if you were to tell me that this $2 million add-on that we're all paying for was to buy us the Florida Power and Light property, I'd be okay with it, because that would turn out to be a great green space for the village. But they don't have a plan. There's just no plan here. They had a visioning session. When was it? Last January, last December. Never reported, never produced a document, never did anything with it. And it's just sitting there dormant, just like the strategic plan that Karen ran on 4 years ago. They just don't follow through on anything.
The city of the town of Cutler Bay just received an award from the state, and I think it was award for walkability and concerning age and things like that. So they had a plan that Cutler Bay did. They put it together. They started implementing it. They were recognized by the state. What is Palmetto Bay going to do, understanding about what is going on as far as the pricing and about...
They're going to have to listen.
They're going to give an 11-foot sidewalk to everybody.
Yeah, listen, the Palmetto Bay residents have to realize, we're going to talk about the 11-foot sidewalk. Palmetto Bay residents have to eventually realize that just because somebody gives out proclamations or seems nice and they knock on the doors and everything, that they don't necessarily know how to run a village. And what Palmetto Bay is doing right now with all these increases in taxes is they're pricing out families out of, new families moving in to Palmetto Bay. And they're also pricing out the ability, if you get to a certain age, to be able to sell your house. I mean, that's my opinion. You're more than welcome.
I actually have a different take, and I've actually had this conversation with a few people in the last week or so. Most people in Palmetto Bay, they live in their day-to-day stuff. They're involved in their kids, their after-school stuff, and they drive around. And for the most part, Palmetto Bay is a very nice place to live. What they're missing on, though, is what all these other cities are doing and leaving us in the dust.
Oh yeah, no.
That's the difference. That's the gap that's continuously growing and growing and growing. Cutler Bay's doing new streets. Cutler Bay just did a new park. Cutler Bay is doing a central park with their townhouse and a community center. Cutler Bay. I mean, we're talking about other cities doing substantially more than what we are.
So
we can't even replace a building that we knocked down 3 years ago.
So in the neighboring cities, one in the north and one in the south, they're very quiet, assertive, positive cities, right? And making it better places to live. So what are the dynamics in Palmetto Bay that are thwarting that effort? If there is
no vision,
if there's
right. no vision, no professionality, no transparency.
They're more interested in trying to personalize and demean people that are critics than in actually running a government. That's really what the issue is.
I don't think they have the ability to run the government. If you look at the 5 people on that council, you tell me any of them who have the ability to represent, 27,000 people in the Village of Palmetto Bay. They just don't have it.
And we go completely silent. David, you're supposed to continue talking. So
no, sorry. I'm reading Bernie Hernandez, who happens to be a fake person, but I'll read it anyway. First of all, millage isn't spelled that way, but I'll give you a break. So the millage rate is increasing, but Ed is suggesting that the city isn't doing enough like other cities. Well, let me tell you something. You got a pot of money, you spend it wisely, okay? You don't spend it sitting there, having festivals. And I hear now we want to have an avocado festival, or is it a mango festival? A mango festival there. You use the money.
It's really not worth answering, but I'll say this. Look, Cutler Bay went after FEMA grant money that I actually, that was after I had resigned and left office, that I actually told David, you need to get on the acting manager and let's go after that money. Cutler Bay went after that money and they got $800,000 for it. Palmetto Bay got $0. It's not.
There's free money.
It's not the pot of money we have. We're mismanaging our money. It's really not about the pot of money. And you can say whatever you want to, but it's not that. It's the way that they're managing their money, and it's the way that they're managing their priorities. They can't think forward.
This is not a
They're
reflection
catering.
On, this
They're
is not a
catering
reflection
to the
on city
note.
manager. Just to reflect on the
No,
policy.
the city manager follows the follows
It's a policy that's set by
instructions.
the council.
Yeah,
He's
instructions from I mean,
handcuffed.
if the council told the city manager do jumping jacks, he'd do jumping jacks. It's not, he doesn't make the
He's
policy.
done plenty in his life.
Look,
I know.
Look, look. Let's talk about what our village does in spin. You're saying spinning about the bond rating. I'll give you another spin. Another spin that's going out there from Councilmember Manson right now is that we have nothing to do with that multi-purpose path that's being put on 136th Street. Nothing to do with it. Zero. That's a county project. We have nothing to do with it. Here, let me give out.
Oh wait,
truth.
I was going to pull out the resolution that she actually read the resolution.
Let's talk about the truth of that path. The design professional was hired by who, Michael?
I guess maybe somebody in Palmetto Bay.
Yeah, it was hired by Palmetto Bay. The Palmetto Bay had the right to reject or approve that design. Mayor Karen Cunningham had an ad hoc task force of 2 residents, Joe Beer and Ed Glab, that signed off on anything that was going to happen on 136th Street before it would go anywhere.
Oh no!
Okay?
And besides that, it never went in front of the council.
Hold on. Let me finish. Right now, they're actually have marked 138 trees to be knocked down. That's 138 trees that are being knocked down out of that corridor. Yeah, obviously they'll be replaced, yada, yada, yada. But these are mature trees that are being knocked down. And guess who marked them?
Palmetto Bay.
Palmetto Bay's
I thought
design.
they didn't have
Palmetto
anything
Bay's
to do
By the way,
design
on
guy.
both sides. Okay, so here, this is the original. This is the
And now the spin is we have nothing
okay.
to do
okay,
with
but
it.
I want to. This is the original resolution that Marcia Matson, council member Marcia Matson, who now says she has nothing to do with it. Okay, which by the way, this was her platform she ran on when she ran for District 3. It says a resolution of the mayor and village council of the Village of Palmetto Bay, Florida, related. Oh my God, my eyes are so bad. Approving the concept of connectivity through a path around the perimeter of the village for use by pedestrians, cyclists, and the village parks, currently known as the Palmetto Bay Path, authorizing village staff to research existing right-of-way ownership and to develop a conceptual design for council approval to identify estimated costs and potential funding mechanisms, directed to staff to present said information to the village council for further consideration. She can't get away from this. This was her idea.
She's answering residents in emails.
Okay, she's lying.
Saying that this is a county. I mean, yes,
She's
she is.
lying. Can you hit the damn button again?
The design.
Okay, she's basically lying.
The design consultant that has tagged these trees is a design consultant that was hired by the Village of Palmetto Bay. You know what? I'm going to say this. I guess the Earth Bunny is missing in action because that she should. Whoever the Earth Bunny is has a right to be very sad right now. 138 trees are being knocked down, residents.
And what is the avenue it start on until it ends?
US 1 to Old Cutler.
And
136th Street from US 1 all the way
On a
to
bike
Old Cutler.
path that will never be used by a
That's a lot of
cyclist.
trees.
Yeah.
That's a lot of trees.
That will never be used by cyclists.
But
because
that's just part one. Here, let me go a little bit further because Councilman Manson is also proposing something like this on 184th Street as well, where there will be a substantial amount of trees there that will have to be knocked down. The zoning code that they just passed, that they're lauding as a great zoning code, okay, has a requirement for an 11-foot sidewalk in front of any new project. Try to put in a street, 11-foot sidewalks, and then have space left over for some sod and trees. You're not going to have it.
So how wide is a parking lot spot?
Parking spot, it's 8.5 by 18.
So this is a pretty big sidewalk, 11 feet.
Oh yeah, it's one heck of a sidewalk. But it's not even the size of the sidewalk. It's the fact that you will not be able to have any tree canopy on your public right-of-ways
Because
of the code.
You have cement.
Because of it's cement.
and by the way, cement
Right-of-ways are usually 50 feet.
Yeah.
22 feet's the road, and now I have 22 feet left over for sidewalks. What's left?
I
Nothing.
want to build a 10-foot sidewalk right in front of Bev Gerald's house.
what a great idea.
Okay. We'll build in front of Bev Gerald's house. We'll build it in front of Marsha Matson's house. We'll build it in front
How
of
about
Mayor
in front of your
Cunningham's
house?
house. Not in front of my house.
All right.
I mean, think about this. We are making is a concrete.
Why?
Oh, wait.
I thought it was the Village of Parks.
No, it's going to be the Village of Concrete.
I don't.
And
get it.
that's what's, and this typifies what is going on
Now
in this
that-
village.
now that this is now that this is, you know,
Don't wait. Unless she uses her real name, don't bother.
So let's talk about all the apartments and what's going on with.
I would like to finish with
Okay.
Councilman Matson and just be done.
I
with,
tried,
with-
Marcia.
I know, but I have to, because there's some. She's now doing, and I'm sure you've seen this on the page, a giveaway, or better known as trying to buy votes, City of Miami style, where she's giving out $500 gifts.
She being
Councilwoman Matson,
They're buying one vote at a time.
where she's giving out $500 gifts for seniors to put in grab bars in their houses, up to $10,000.
say that again.
If you're a senior in Palmetto Bay, you can go to the village and they will give you $500 to put a grab bar in your shower.
By the way, no follow through. They don't have.
It's worse than that. Wait until you find it.
Well, I
Medicare.
yeah.
Medicare
pays for it.
pays for it.
Yes.
The Medicare cost on average is from a low of 90 on average installed is up from a low of $90 to a maximum that they found out there of $260. The average cost to put in a grab bar in a bathroom is $180. So, but they've seen as low as 90 and as high as $260. We're giving away $500.
Of taxpayer of other
So this is
taxpayers'
really-
money.
this
Of
is
other
really-
taxpayers' money.
Yet again, another contractor relief effort, in my opinion.
No, this is
They-
buying votes, one vote at a time.
But they're giving contractors free money
I'm-
here.
One vote at a time. That's what they're doing. That's what they've been doing for the past 3 years. We will buy votes, one vote at a time. $500 is a lot of money to buy a vote.
Okay, so what's going on the US 1 side of Palmetto Bay? Zoning, apartments, any new shopping centers going in over there?
There's never going to be shopping centers going in there. There'll never be office buildings going over there. The residents are going to get nothing but apartments.
The
That's what they're gonna
residents will get exactly what they've been pontificating against for
Mhm.
many years. They did not want it to turn into an apartment haven, and that's exactly what it's going to turn into.
Is there any belief system that says, gee, if all those people move into apartments over there, they could change the election by virtue of the number of people there versus the
You just hit on what I think that they're so afraid of.
which is all these new people going to move in, and on an acre you're going to have so many people.
It's not that it's the diluting their voting block. I think you just hit it, the nail on the head.
At least in South Miami, they were a little bit more open about it and volunteered that. which
Yeah,
is-
but if they're really freaked out about that, then why are they permitting so many apartments to be built?
Because they don't understand what
They
they've done.
don't listen. Some of these people, remember, that was a show, Bewitched.
yes,
Remember that cranky lady Kravitz that used to live right next door or whatever, and used to sit there, look out her window and spy on whoever was, I don't remember the lady's name. Whoever, that is 20 to 30 people that run the village right now.
so there's a mention up there about Pinecrest Bakery. What is that?
Oh, it's right in the middle of US 1. It's where the gas station used to be.
Yeah, but why is that up there? I
I guess he wants to know what's going on with it.
I honestly don't know what's going on. I actually saw where they kind of did some roof work and
I think it's moving forward.
maybe I don't
Yeah.
know. They actually
It's
had
where the gas station
they
used to
had
be.
like a temporary Pinecrest truck out there for a while selling bakeries out of the site, and code enforcement
Okay,
kicked them out.
so the county's already started working on the BRT, bus rail
Mhm.
transit. What does that mean when it's operational?
Ah.
What does it mean to Palmetto Bay?
Means all those people that live in apartments are going to be able to get on the BRT and go to jobs someplace else instead of staying in Palmetto Bay and working in an office building there.
Sir, what do you think? He's not a sir. He's like, hey, you. All right.
I'll say this. I think I find it very interesting. I don't know if you saw that Elon Musk was signed by Fort Lauderdale.
Yep.
They're doing to bore a new tunnel.
Yep.
Under the the New River, is that called up there? The New River. We're stuck with BRT. We're not going to get mass transit. That's the bottom line.
Not in the next 5 to 10 years.
Not ever.
Well,
At-
BRT
at-
is considered mass transit. You're talking about rail.
We're not going to get rail.
Okay,
At
thank you.
best, you might get rail on grade. But I don't understand. If you were to look at South Day, the biggest issues you've got with the BRT system, it's going to be impeding east-west flow. If you come up to one of these streets and you want to get by and those buses are going by every 5 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever it is, you're just not going to have.
They're going to have to be timed.
And,
Listen, if they're timed,
David, and you
listen,
honestly believe.
Listen, I just want a system better than we have now.
Okay, but I'm getting there. But for $5 million an intersection,
Mhm.
they could bury that BRT on strategic streets. We're talking about $20 million because I can really think of only about 4 or 5 streets. 136th Street. I mean, that's starting Pinecrest. 104th Street, 136, 152, and 288th. Those are the main east-west.
You want them to
roads.
bury them underneath the street.
So that the east-west
we
can
need
flow.
we need relief. Those people that
That's
live down
$20
there,
million.
I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about the relief. People need relief now because if you think, okay, like the Village of Palmetto Bay does, or their council, that this traffic is going to stay the way it is right now during the summer, starting September, everything's changed because of COVID. That's not going to happen.
It's not going to change.
Not going to happen.
It's going to get
It's
worse.
Worse and worse.
Go south and look at how many apartment buildings are going up south. The traffic is going to get worse. But if you don't do something that will actually help the BRT system work better, actually allow you to do east-west truck crossings, a little know-nothing city like the city of Naples, they have grade separations of major intersections. In Naples, it's a town of 30,000 people, and they've got grade separations of the roads. And we can't figure out how to do it on our US 1. To me, it actually smacks of the discrimination that South Dade has always gotten from Miami-Dade County. It's always been thought of as the stepchild.
Commissioner Keone McGee, where are you?
No, he agrees.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure he agrees.
He's
Yes,
in
I
100%
agree.
agreement.
Yes.
And I'm sure Danielle Cohen-Higgins
And
agrees
yeah,
as
100%
well.
agreement. They're both-
I know Mayor Daniela Levine Cava fought for rail, so I know that.
Listen,
they're there.
rail would have never happened, and it was going to take too long. If you put trains on grade, that's a different story. Okay,
But even with trains on grade, if you have grade separation in certain key areas, it will help substantially because we're fooling ourselves if we think that if we do even a train on rail to Homestead, it resolves all the issues.
it doesn't
'Cause
resolve all the
doesn't.
issues, but
We don't have a mass transit system. We don't.
you don't. But you got to not like New York. New York was amazing mass transit.
The car
But-
is still king here, and it will be for a while.
But you have to take a little pieces here, little pieces there, and try not to just try with singles first, not trying to hit it out of the park. And if you try to hit it out of the park, it's going to take forever to get anything done.
But even if you do grade separations, David, I'm harping on this, but we're not talking about a whole lot of money. I mean, they're spending $350 million on putting lipstick on a bus, calling it a BRT. Spend
So
another
that lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, okay.
spend another $20 million and do grade separations in key intersections.
That
Maybe
sort
if
of
there's
needs to
this-
get done relatively quickly.
Well,
But-
maybe-
or not at all.
Or maybe if maybe they'll see that after the BRT is working, and they'll deal with it.
Look, I was part of those groups.
So was I.
I know what those lead times are, and in a perfect world, those buses are going to be going every 6 or 7 minutes. In a perfect world, that means that the bus didn't break down. That means that you didn't have riders that took too long to get on the bus, and the buses don't bunch up. It's not going to work out that way. It's just not.
You're hoping it doesn't. You're hoping it does. But
No,
it may
I'm
not.
hoping. No,
It
no,
does.
no. On the contrary,
You're hoping.
I hope that all those models work perfectly. But I also know, but that's
You know what I found fascinating? By the way?
idealistic. And realistically, I know I live in Miami-Dade County,
Yeah.
and I know it's coming.
Well, I've lived here my whole life, so this has always
So,
been
so
terrible.
you're also to blame.
This has always been horrendous. The mass transit. Interesting enough, New York taxis are cheaper than Uber.
Why is that?
Significantly cheaper than Uber. I don't know. I took.
I think it was because it was you.
Yeah, probably it was me and Jeremy. So I took both in the same. I take a taxi one way and then an Uber back to where I was, and it's actually Ubers were like 15 to 20% more expensive than taxis. It was very bizarre.
All
Maybe
right,
somebody can answer that.
I do want to talk about something else. First of all,
Wait. Let me just once
Go ahead.
again, if you want to call in and ask questions,
Steve Cody,
786
would you call in, please?
584 7665 786 584 7665. Steve Cody's going to be advertising with us. Is that what I heard?
He might be. It should be fun.
Steve Cody wants to advertise, and I gave him. I said his money's just as good as anybody else's. Although I need to see it cash.
Oh, speak of that, let's talk about the farmers market. That's what it's called, right?
Mhm.
How's it going there? Not the Shannon Melinda thing,
I don't know.
the event.
I have no idea.
What do you think? I've never been there, so I don't know. All right.
I was there when it first opened up, but that's it.
Well, the city like it. The city likes it. Then people go.
I think people go. People were going.
You know, a month ago he was like crazy about
No,
it.
I still am. I haven't
know,
liked.
I know.
We
the
debated-
I know
we
the
debated.
ties. I know I'm going to get the disclaimer pretty soon that it's your brother.
Yes,
and I
that's
get
my
it,
brother.
and I understand. My issue isn't. It's never been the farmers market. I still think it's in the wrong place, and at the wrong location. But
Wrong
do
day,
I,
maybe.
But do I believe that a farmers market's a great thing for the village? Absolutely. I absolutely believe that. I mean, if you look at how you want to build a community, you put in farmers markets.
Yes.
It's always a component of a gathering place for the community. So you want to have a farmers market. I just believe that that's the wrong place for it. I also believe that they're overtaxing our staff and not being compensated for it.
For what? For manning it.
For manning
dealing
it,
with
for setting up
So-
for it, for tearing it down, for having police presence there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There is a cost to that, whether they want to pontificate that number or not, that we, the residents, are picking up.
So where's the watering hole of Palmetto Bay?
It's going away. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, you can't say anything about that.
Yeah, I know.
Don't say anything about that.
That in small towns, all right, and even if it's a big town in its areas, there's a place where people go to hang out. Arbetters, Frankie's, Deli Lane, or wherever it is, you go there, and there's this gathering place.
I would say
What's-
right now it's Pink Floyd's.
For
Is that-
now.
For now, it's Pink Floyd's.
For
Everybody
now.
loves the place.
All right, do they love it too much? Is the city going to do something?
For now.
For
We'll
now,
leave it
they
at that.
everybody loves it too much. The city has done their best to chase them out of Palmetto Bay.
And I think they will.
Okay.
And I-
Yeah.
and I
What do you
think-
know about South End Mall? Anything new there
No,
outside of Palmetto Bay?
we're gonna change. We're gonna change subjects because
I do know a little bit
yeah.
about South.
Wait. I
End
don't
Mall.
want to talk about South End because we got 15 minutes, and I want to talk about.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about still.
Oh,
dude.
wait. I want to talk about council members being respectful of residents, not necessarily me, but other residents with opinions. So, would you like to start that because you brought some slides?
Oh, I didn't bring the slides. I just found them very interesting.
Okay.
That they were posted. Yeah, this is about our council member Cody, and yes, I am speaking about Mr. Cody. Just want to make sure that I give, this is a guy that had the world in his hands. I've had this conversation before. Had a very successful law practice, and it slipped and just it's shattered. His life is basically a shattered one. So he is a person that has tried to personalize his attacks on me, on you,
Mhm. Oh, I don't care about that. I care about
On-
residents.
on Gene.
Yeah.
Now I think he's stepped over it. If we can put up the first
Yeah. Can
one,
you?
that one, yep. This is what he put out a few days ago, and this is an attack on one of our residents,
And a good friend of yours,
and Carol Vega.
Carol Vega.
No kidding.
Yep.
This is really lax class. You don't do this.
Carol, where are you?
You just really don't do
We
this.
apologize. We apologize.
Is it identified anywhere that it's her?
Yes.
He actually came out on another post and said it was her.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you just don't do this. You don't attack your own residents.
By the way, this is somebody, okay, who was represented by Mayor Cunningham.
But she endorsed.
Okay,
it.
she endorsed him of being a great guy, and will benefit this community. Okay, I'm just saying this is the mayor. This is who the mayor stood up for in the election. Okay, he's done nothing but attack anybody who disagrees with him. and that's okay if you're a politician or somebody, but that was inappropriate.
No,
for
it's not.
Carol.
It's not okay if
Yeah.
you're a politician.
I-
That's
no,
absolutely
no.
something that
I
should
think
never
it's okay
happen.
for like I don't care about me, okay, because I was an ex-politician. I don't care about you because you're. Just
Oh, he
you.
can say whatever
Okay,
he wants to
but
me.
when
I,
you start
I'm laughing.
attacking
I laugh it
everyday
off.
residents, it's so inappropriate. It shows your lack of morals.
And then on social media,
Where was that posted, by the way?
His Facebook page and a couple of other
and
Facebook.
and then on social media in the last few days, if you can put up the other one. They've been hammering away at him for putting up these kinds of
What does
posts.
that say? Betcha never? What does that mean?
Well, at the very least, these are sexist posts, and I believe they're a little demeaning out there. And I don't think that these represent what a politician should be doing, a council member should be doing that's representing our village. You know, I've stayed away from the personal stuff, but it's just getting over the line. He's made fun of me. He's called me a clown. He's called me a
the
loser.
fact of the matter is, the guy probably hasn't had sex since his wife died.
We don't know that.
Okay,
And it's not relevant.
and but listen,
Sorry,
that's
Steve.
why he's drawing these women, because he's probably frustrated.
Now, there might be there's possibly a very good David.
There's no good reason for him drawing. And
yeah,
putting
David,
stuff
but
out like that.
I don't want to go to this. I don't want to go to his same level. I just want to leave it at, when you're demeaning to the residents of Palmetto Bay, and not some like David, who was a former council member, that was a village manager, but when you're demeaning to the regular residents, and you're putting posts out there that is really upsetting the regular residents, that they felt compelled to put that up, and they are felt compelled to talk about other things that he's doing, and yet he's blocking their ability to respond, and he's not responding.
He's
to them.
illegally blocking people's.
There's an issue.
But
There's an issue.
he's never backed down from anything. But let's look at these illustrations. There are probably a couple dozen I've seen. At best, it's on the line, right in the middle there, just a little bit this way. I think that most of them are inappropriate. All right, but who am I? All right, other people would say, "Oh, just it's great artwork." But when it gets to the point about demeaning people, all right, or residents, when he did one with Gene Flynn, I think that's in the okay range. For a politician who's involved, all right. But the reality is, this is a sitting official, not a private citizen. This is a sitting official. That's the issue that you're bringing up.
That's the distinction that I'm drawing here. Privately, you can do whatever you want to. I mean, take your shots.
If the mayor of South Miami or Coral Gables or Palmetto Bay or of the county or a commissioner of Miami Beach was doing that about,
it'd be all over. It'd be all over
the Herald.
All over the Herald.
It would be all over.
Where are they? All right.
And but what's worse is, he'll sit there, and if you know anything about politicians, is you can't block anybody. Trump got in trouble for that, for blocking people. It went to whatever, some Supreme, I don't know if it was a state Supreme Court or anything else. He's blocking people he's blocking people from actually responding to his comments, his pictures and stuff like that. He's not allowed to do that.
Okay. All right. Next, I got a question for you.
Legally, anyway.
So we're talking about people speaking out. You have a Facebook page?
Mm-hmm.
You have a Facebook page?
Yeah. If
there were comments on there that you were just totally opposed to, it just offended you in every possible way, and you are a person that likes people that speak their mind, and you looked at it and you said, I have a strong group of people that read my stuff, read my postings there, and read the comments, but you were offended totally. Your choices include respond to the post, delete it, hide it, or ignore it. Generally speaking, what would you do, Ed?
I've done it. I respond.
Okay.
I don't block anybody. Well, that's not true. I think I've blocked
Well, I'm not talking about block. It's posted there.
Yeah.
And so
what
do you do?
I don't delete it. I always said the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know, and people should know basically what some of these whack jobs think.
So then taking that concept to these illustrations that are up there, you want to push somebody to stop it, or do you say, hey, as you're saying, just let everybody know what that person, who that happens to be? And it's really an internal question that really, I think, is open discussion about what to do. I've done all three things or four things. Respond to them, not to them, but other, respond to them, not respond to them, hide it, comment, delete.
You know, I don't think I've ever really deleted one myself. I've ignored them or I've answered them. But that's, you know, everybody does what they want to
Yeah.
do. But the point is, you're a private citizen. I'm a private citizen now, so we can do what we want to do.
Yeah, Cody's not allowed to do
But
that.
there's a different set of rules when you're a
Politician.
politician.
Are
You
they
are not
rules or their
allowed-
values?
No,
What is that?
Values.
no,
I
there-
guess it's
there-
values.
No, there's rules. There's actually law that says if you're sitting there doing business, okay, doing politicians type business on your webpage or through whatever, you're not allowed to block people's comments.
Okay, so let's say he or somebody else says, you know what, I'm not doing it on a city position. I'm changing my hats, and this is my personal.
But that's not true because his whole Facebook page.
The problem he has
Yeah.
is that he's continuously posting stuff from the village on his site as well.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
you can't
problem.
pick and choose.
So
Yeah,
this-
you can no, you can have a private life.
No, you
Okay.
can't. No, you can sit there and have a private page where you don't talk about anything for the village, anything at all for the village, and then you can block people. But the second you sit there and
use
start
that
talking
page.
about and use that
Okay.
page for
big picture.
and obviously he's a wannabe. I mean, he was a former lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, and that's just my personal private opinion that I don't believe that. I just find it offensive. I
So-
really find it demeaning.
Right. So we do hold our elected officials, our big volunteers, to
They're
a
supposed to be
higher
examples.
standard.
And they're
Yes.
supposed to set an
This-
example.
this better, you know, you're supposed to set the example. I want to be like him. I want to be like her. Isn't it wonderful? Well, we're not quite seeing that. All right. With put aside the words he's saying, the pictures are damaging as well, which sometimes really are penetrating. All right. And I've seen them. And I'm surprised that is it Me Too? The women people have not gotten after a public official who's doing diagrams like that and
I'm surprised
posting
that
it.
the mayor hasn't done it.
I'm stunned, actually. And there have been plenty of people that have done innocent things. All right.
But the problem, but and I'm sorry to
Yeah.
because I'm seeing that fake name up again, and I'm not gonna go to her responses there, nor do I want them put up. But this is the problem right here of what's wrong with Palmetto Bay. We're not discussing the issue; we're trying to spin it. There's a resident here that's just trying to spin it and deflect it everywhere.
Well, okay, so she may be a resident, but she's not using her real name. Okay. And then she thinks I'm condescending because I said you're not using your real name.
but I said
well,
that's not good.
But wait, stop. But you're not using your real name.
So, so one of the things we've recognized, included our last president, which many of the times it's not policies, because we're not talking about any policies. We're talking about personal behavior in a public way that negatively impacts a lot of people. I got to tell you, I'm surprised that these women's groups that have been out there because somebody called somebody a babe or gave them a kiss on the cheek or swat on the behind, those type of diagrams are offensive, all right? And they're demeaning to people, period, all right? And so I'm surprised the women of this community don't call him out at a public meeting and say, these type of drawings are offensive. I've seen those drawings where they have a girl with a bikini here and the sexiest little underwear.
Mhm.
If you know, let your imagination go, and that's what it's about. What is this sexy drawing doing, all right, by a politician?
It's just wrong.
Right?
It's just
Right?
wrong.
In a very public way.
Yeah,
Right?
it's wrong. It's just
Right?
wrong.
So anyway, Steve, sorry, but that's the gospel for me.
No, it's you know, and I've never, you know this, I don't really, but it's just wrong.
Yeah.
This is just not, it's not right. It's quite disturbing, frankly, and I'm surprised, very surprised that some of that council haven't spoken out against it. Very surprised.
Marsha Madsen, Karen Cunningham,
Or Liam Tell.
Liam
I mean,
tell
there's
me.
three women on there.
And I'm
and-
very
and-
surprised that they condone it.
Three women, by the way, I think that all have daughters,
but and
right?
and being silent
Yeah.
is affirming that it's okay.
That's right.
And all they have to do is say it, what it is, get it on the record. I'm against this. I hope you stop. All right. So I hope they do that.
All right, getting back to some other things because I know that our time's running up. Look, we also have
It's running out. Running up is
running up.
Up, out. I know. What are you going to do, Ed?
We have a new art sculpture that's been put up in a couple places around town.
Saw it.
A dog. It's actually kind of. I kind of think it's
Cool.
It's cool. I like it. However, here's a question I got: was that permitted? Because I don't see no tie downs. I would hope to God that we don't get hit by a hurricane, but if we do, I think we might just have a dog statue in somebody's living room.
Is that
Free of charge.
Is that his
Wait,
dog?
it goes even worse than that because remember AJ was in here talking about the artwork that he
Yeah.
did. He had to go get a background check. Okay, or they asked him to get a background check to put the art in Car Reef Park because of Shannon Melende, right? We don't have any background check on this artist who's put all kinds of art
that we know of. That we know of.
that I've asked for
And
public information.
And my bigger
Yeah.
bigger issue is how is this permitted and how is this tied down? That's
Again, this has nothing to do with the person. It has to do with the city and its policy.
The city doesn't
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
policies.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, this right here is the Village of Palmetto Bay Charter. You might as well just throw this thing away. The city does not follow the policies that have been around for 20 years. They just don't do it. And they don't care.
So and on Monday night, one of the council members is bringing a covenant to prevent a charter school from ever being built on the 2 acres, which is a net 1 acre that was bought in downtown. Now that's ironic because the covenant is being set up by the government, and who can take that covenant away whenever they want to? The government. So to me, what's being signaled here is that they're basically getting to the point where they're contemplating selling that land. That's the only reason
Mhm.
why you would ever do that, because if you're the government and you've already stated that you don't want a charter school there, why do you need to even put that into?
What's funny is that it's zoned for more apartments.
But here's the ironic thing with what they've done recently, that where they're trying to change how you define density from gross to net. And now they're also going to be directing on Monday night staff to come up with a maximum height ordinance of 45 feet. You dabble in real estate.
Mhm.
What have they done to that land?
They've devalued the land tremendously.
So in the meetings, are there public meetings not all the time now? I mean, open meetings, or are they
Yeah.
all still right? So people can join either way, right? But if they really have an opinion, they need to show up because the Zoom is ineffective. All right. Yeah, you got to say your piece, and the politicians we'll just ignore. Because if you care enough, you're going to go down there and you're going to get up and you're going to say your piece, and you should look straight at them, whatever your opinion happens to be about that.
Well, it doesn't make it. What's eventually going to happen is there's going to be some owners of property that are going to probably eventually sue. But I mean, they don't care about that.
And
The Village of litigation.
We got 2 minutes, by the way.
And we're still down police officers that's come out. They try to spin it as many ways as they want to. But
Well,
we
I
still
told
don't
you
have a
what
full
that was about,
force.
right? They were getting the money refunded by. I told you last time I was here that
You
they
know,
were getting,
look, he's back from New York. He's happy. His face is
I know.
clear. All right. Yeah, looks like you lost a couple pounds. No.
Hey!
who's
It's
over
Grant.
there? Who is that?
Grant, your brother.
Oh,
your brother.
okay. So let's wrap it up. Gloves off.
Wait, do we have to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Don't we have more?
Are you going to pay? I mean, you've already given them a $500 phone system that didn't work.
Yeah, I know they can't figure out how to use it,
Giving them
right?
a coffee machine.
Grant, come on over here.
Are you going to be paying for overtime for
Come
the,
talk to
for
us.
the text?
Hey,
Okay. There you go.
wait,
I'll be right there. I got this.
Grant
There it goes.
Miller's coming. And I would like to say something because somebody's. Thank you.
One more time.
No, Grant Miller. Hey, what did I say every time I mention Grant Miller? What do we do?
All right. So Single, what are we going to talk about? Don't tell me you're going to talk about Palmetto Bay.
No, I don't want to talk about
Okay.
Palmetto Bay. You know, I don't ever get hot dogs.
Hey, let's talk about the Marlins.
Did they win
They
today?
actually swept the
They won
Dodgers.
today?
Oh, I don't know if they won.
They won
again.
3 games. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you know his son played baseball
Really?
at Palmer?
That was a rumor.
You didn't know
Was
that?
he any good? Was he as good as my son?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Oh, really? Than Daniel?
Yeah, but you know,
How about Ryan?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
He was all right until he threw his arm out. He's all right.
so what's going to happen in the future on building property? Let's talk about insurance, about properties, condos.
Is this part 2?
I know. But,
Tag
we
team.
got
You
about
talked
10
about
minutes to talk to him.
This is like the wrestling
Okay,
match that they
okay,
just
no,
tag
yeah,
teamed in.
Like if somebody belongs to an
I'm
HOA,
honored. This is the first time, Grant, that you actually got on air.
okay, if you belong to an HOA, whether condos, townhouses,
Okay.
and it gets blown away, just destroyed. Let's
Yeah.
say it's a townhouses, 40
Okay.
townhouses.
Okay. First of all, there's different insurance. Okay. With
But
the
most
town-
people mostly
Okay.
underinsured, right?
No, with the townhouse, you usually are insured by your own insurance policy. If they're connecting, if the
But you
townhouse is connected,
But you pay part of the HOA.
I know, but if they're because what happens if
For
the
the
town,
common areas on a townhouse.
yeah, so if the roof, okay, gets blown away, that's covered under the HOA
Right.
insurance policy. If I'm wrong, you better jump in here, okay?
On a townhouse.
That's why I'm
Okay.
asking him.
On
Okay.
a townhouse, you're wrong. On condos, I'll give you a perfect example.
No, I'm right on the townhouse.
Country walk.
If there's no delineation mark on the roof, they can't insure it personally. They have to insure it through the HOA.
There's no divider.
But they're all okay.
Okay, but point of what I'm trying to
Okay.
say is
There is.
because of this thing that happened in Surfside, everybody's going to be looking at if they belong to an HOA. Most people are underinsured? Homeowners, excuse me, the board of directors. Are they going to now? Do you have board of directors insurance?
Absolutely.
But not everybody does it.
Well,
You better have it.
you better have it.
They better because they're liable. They didn't
Yeah.
realize they signed up for that, but unfortunately they did.
I don't know any condos that don't have board of directors insurance because I don't know anybody who would risk their livelihood if they didn't have insurance. If they didn't have insurance to be on the board.
This is going to change a lot of things in the industry. It's going to change. I believe that the insurance companies, like what they're doing with you right now, they
Mhm.
are going to come along and ask for inspections from
Yeah.
their own private people. I believe that the cities are going to go the way City of Miami did and change that 40-year certifications to 30 and probably even less.
I thought it's 40 and then 10 and 10.
It's 40 and then
10,
10 thereafter,
10,
but
yeah.
City of Miami just changed it to 30 years because that's really not a building code issue. That's really every city has their own rules. Most adopted what the county did, which was 40, but City of Miami just went to 30.
What do you think about that?
I think it should probably for structural, it should be less than 30. And I think the caveat should be maybe 4 or 5 stories or taller, or if you're in pilings.
What do you mean piling?
Pilings are
Piling,
dug,
which is with
dug
the
they support the
that's what supports
Yeah.
the building.
Yeah.
If you're on a slab and a foundation, it's not,
And
it's critical.
People think 40 years is so far down the road. It's not. It's right around the corner.
No.
The house that you live in now, how old is it?
it's 57.
The one you're living
Yeah, but I mean
Yeah, but the structure
yeah. Well, some of the structures still left from 57.
of some of it.
Yeah.
Tom just answered you what I was trying to answer you.
Tom Barbado. Question, Tom. Are you going to be there tonight? Barbado. Hello.
No, he's on.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Tom, I know you're watching. Are you going there tonight, Thursday night, about John Linsky? I just want to know. So what did he say? I can't read it completely.
No, that maybe his answer to your question is maybe.
Okay.
that a townhouse, the homeowners have to insure the building and the roof, and on a condo association, the condo association is responsible for the structure, and the units have to do everything on the interior.
I don't think anything's cut and dry like that because I pay an HOA for insurance for the roof.
Okay, so everything's different.
So anything's different. So you can't not one. It's not cookie cutter. Not one size fits all.
And I think
I'm
the
gonna have
city,
to-
I think,
I'm going to want to know where. Anyway,
Okay.
and I think you're
I-
right. I think cities are going to look at all the properties. They're going to look at everything.
and I will say, and I also think that at some point, if the engineer does that inspection and they see spalding or if they see rusted rebars, there's got to be some sort of further review, or you do some sort of imaging, because you can do imaging to see how the rebars are in concrete. And I have a feeling that that's probably something that's going to be coming
It's an
down the
X-ray.
road. That's well,
Yeah.
And how do they do that?
That's
there's an X-ray. There's
Yeah.
actually machines that do it.
They actually have a machine that goes through and looks
Yeah.
at it.
It's obviously something that's not cheap, but if you see something visually, you're going to have some sort of backup to really be able to see what's going on. Now, I'm not saying that this has got anything to do with what happened there, because we talked before. I think that this is there's going to be a whole lot of
I think this is a
issues.
good way to bring down insurance rates actually on people that do get these inspections more frequently. Because if somebody comes out there, if the insurance company says, okay, you got to pay $500 or $5,000 to do a report to make sure that structurally it's okay and electrical wise it's okay, you're really taking a lot of their risk away.
But isn't that like car insurance now? That they check your driving all the time. They even, I don't know which company, they put something in your car to see how fast you go. But changing the subject, I don't know if Michael brought it up. We have
By the way, his son played baseball too.
Yeah, I
Both of
know.
them-
His
both
sons
of
were
them
great.
actually.
okay, so Oliver Gilbert's coming in to talk
Yeah.
about transportation, and I think it's a major issue. Everybody thinks it's South Dade. It's everywhere, transportation. But more important than transportation is what? Thank you, jobs. If we had 30,000 more jobs in South Dade, we wouldn't have a transportation problem.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes, absolutely.
But
Live, work, play.
And I will say this: I am seeing like Keone McGee and Oliver Gilbert speak more and more and more about making South Dade more of a job center and trying to bring some activities down there. I am seeing that move, but that's also not something that's going to happen from one day to another. That's a long term. You know, the economic development directors with Peter England and all those people, they're trying. The Beacon Council they are trying to do
It's
that.
tough because there's not an airport that could do a lot of stuff. Amazon opened something near Tamiami Airport. They opened something in Homestead,
Mhm.
but it's only 300 jobs.
Yeah, you got to do something like convert Cutler Ridge Mall or Southland Mall into a hub. Where
Cutler Ridge Mall.
yeah, well,
Showing his
you know,
age. isn't it?
yeah, I know. You got to convert that into office buildings and some retail and stuff like that. It's a big piece of property. It's probably one of the biggest, and it's right off the turnpike. It's great access. You're going to have the BRT run right by there. Somebody should look at that as like a mini city.
If this county would give that company a huge tax
Correct.
break,
Correct.
they'd go, that's a great idea.
Uh-huh.
It's 25 minutes from either airport.
Mhm.
So I think it's time up.
And by the way, I will also say this: I'm actually looking forward to seeing when they finally sign that monorail that they're supposed to be doing from downtown Miami to Miami Beach. I actually think that's pretty huge for mass transit as well, because that's going to be like a monorail system. That
If it
connects.
happens.
If it happens, yeah. It should. Hopefully, it'll get done in the next month or two.
Really? You mean the signing of the agreement?
Yeah.
All right. Well, take off the gloves. The most important thing is transportation,
Thank you.
jobs, not in just Palmetto Bay, but all Dade County.
Correct.
That's correct.
Jobs.
And-
Although
and
if you've walked around to some of the shopping centers, and they're service industry jobs, so they're not like high paying jobs. A lot of people are looking for employees right now. A lot of people are looking for employees.
And a lot of restaurants aren't opening full because they can't get enough employees.
You know? So
And I see some restaurants like Muffin Tin down in Southland. Please be nice to the servers. They're here. They're not getting government handouts. And it's tough
Yeah.
because they can't get enough staffers.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the car wash that's right off of Palmetto Bay, down in the south end of it.
Oh, car wash?
No, the other one,
A Busy Bee?
Busy Bee.
Great guy, local guy, went
They-
to Palmetto.
They couldn't do the full service detailing on my thing because I showed up too late and they don't have the workers.
oh
So
my
they're-
god,
yeah.
we're gonna have to talk to
That's
him.
Jim Mahalan.
I'll have
That's
to call
Jim
Jimmy
Mahal,
up.
yeah.
He's a Palmetto Bay resident, I
Yes, he
think.
is. Yeah, he was.
Oh, he still is.
He still
Oh
is.
wait, did he move to Pinecrest? He got tired of Palmetto Bay. I know that much. So he might have moved to Pinecrest. I've
Okay,
lived
the
in
last but not least, did he talk about his dog, how he lost it? And who found it?
Ryan.
I'm really not sure that dog was lost. I think that dog was trying to make a
Hey,
break.
listen, I have one left. I have one German Shepherd puppy left to sell.
All right, Michael.
So call me if you want it.
Get us out of here, would you please?
Jobs
Yeah.
and transportation. Have a great day.
Hey, next week, 4 to 5, I got some new special guests that are going to be on. It's a secret, but make sure you tune in. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the studio audience. Good night, everybody.